Hello to all my artsy friends. Today I'm sharing the best 20 DIYs in 2020. We'll be working our way through all the seasons, so let's start this craft countdown. Blue and white home decor is so elegant and perfect for that modern farmhouse look. These are regularly $45, but we're going to make them for only $4 with some Dollar Tree finds. In the gift wrapping section at Dollar Tree, they had these cylinder style gift boxes. So I picked up 3 of those, and then I saw these table tennis balls, which will work for the little handle at the top of those canisters. I gave these a coat of white spray paint and then finished up with a second coat of paint. Then I got to painting the blue pattern. Even though it looks like a complex design, I freehanded this because the patterns are very simple. Basically just lines and dots. It went pretty quick painting on those designs, and then I used some glue to pop on those table tennis balls that I had painted white. And can you believe how close these look to the original for only $4 versus $45? This video is part of a playlist hosted by Heidi Sonboul and DIY Beauty on Purpose. They got a group of us crafters together to share our best 20 DIYs from 2020. I'll link the playlist below so you can have tons of inspiration all in one place. So I'm going to use this $60 beaded cake stand from Kirkland's as inspiration, but I'm going to do a black and white version. Dollar Tree has really nice glass dishware, and I picked up a small clear plate and a margarita glass. These are really solid pieces of glass, so this will be a very sturdy piece when we're all done with it. I used some E6000 to glue these 2 items together. And these little beaded stickers are the star of the show today. I found them at Dollar Tree, and they come in strips on a sticky backing. I attached these to the edges, and once we put a coat of paint over the top, they will be sealed in place. I loved how this looked with a matte white finish, and I wanted to add some of the black paint to create a rustic look. Doesn't this look like a piece that Joanna Gaines would have? It's very Magnolia inspired too. I love how this is multi-purpose. Now, since I used paint, I would not put food directly on this, but if you wanted a workaround, you could put the paint only on the bottom of the plate, and then the top would remain free of paint, but since it's clear, you could still see the color through the top of the glass. You'll need foam core, rope, and paint, which can all be found at Dollar Tree. I started by cutting the foam core and gluing it together. After gluing all the pieces together, it was time to paint. To give the effect of wood, just keep the brush going in the same direction and don't mix your paints together too much. I made a light brown with some brown paint and white paint, and then I added a little bit more brown, but I didn't mix it in too well so that it would create a few streaks. Those streaks are what give it that wood-looking texture. Hey, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your love and support here on Artsy Cupcake. My name is Maria, and I get to be creative every day as a graphic designer. So my passion is sharing ways for you to get creative in your home. If you like budget DIYs and other types of creative inspiration, please hit that little subscribe button and the notification bell right now so you'll know when my next video goes up. I added a little piece of masking tape to either side and I colored it with a Sharpie, hot glued that piece of rope on, and here we have the final look. We are going to make this $29 tray for only $2. They had these cute trays and then this nice amount of rope at Dollar Tree. I put a coat of white paint over the tray. It doesn't have to be completely covered, but just enough to create a nice base for the other paint that we will be using. A little brown and white paint, and I think I added some black in there. I tried to pick up various shades to add dimension and create the illusion of wood. I found this super glue at Dollar Tree and used this to attach the rope handles. I think this looks pretty close to the original and at a huge savings. I'm really happy with how it came out. These were $150, but guess how much we'll be paying? $1. I spray painted these stovetop covers from Dollar Tree to give it a nice white base, and then I got to painting. This sponge brush gave these discs a nice wood looking finish. It was really easy to match the Kirkland's inspiration by just adding different shades of browns and keeping the brush strokes going in the same direction. The set of stove covers only came with 2, so for the third one I used a lid off of a little canister I had. I think a jar lid would also have worked really well. You just want something round and has probably about ½ an inch of height to it. Now I'm going to show you how to transfer an image using wax paper and an inkjet printer. I started by recreating the pattern in Adobe Illustrator. I made the lines really thin because I just wanted to be able to trace this pattern with white paint. Then I taped a piece of wax paper to a regular piece of paper. You definitely want to make sure those edges are really secure or else it will jam your printer. And we know how fun that is. You will want to quickly do the transfer while the ink is still wet. Push down really hard with the edge of a credit card, or if you have a little handy dandy rolling pin like I do here, it makes the process even easier. You'll want to add a clear coat after this so that the white does not get muddy with that ink. The ink takes a really long time to dry, so that clear coat will make this go a lot better. I was impatient and just got going with the painting, and I did not have a clear coat handy, so I ended up having to do several coats of white paint to cover up that ink. But that's okay, because you know what? Put some good music on and painting can be really fun. I loved this Nautical rope mirror, but for $79, well, I think we can do better than that. Dollar Tree had this rope in 2 different colors. I went with the lighter one because I think it matches that lantern we just made really nicely. I already had this round mirror from Michael's, but I have seen mirrors like this at Dollar Tree. I started by hot gluing the rope to the mirror, and I made sure the rough edges were all at the same point. I plan on reusing this mirror in the future, but if you wanted to make this ultra permanent, then you could always use a stronger bonding glue. Next, I gathered the twine and got it as lined up as possible. I put a small amount of hot glue and then pushed it under the rope with a bamboo skewer, which I also found at Dollar Tree in a pack of 100. The final step is to add the loop at the top. It's on sale for $89, but it was originally $120. I only ended up using 1.5 of these little tubs of Play-Doh. I found these at Dollar Tree. You probably could get away with just getting 1 of these because I made 1 extra fish in case one broke when I baked it, but it didn't end up breaking. After forming the fish, I baked them at 200 degrees for 15 minutes and I left them in the oven overnight. They weren't all the way hard the next day, so I flipped them over and I baked them again for 30 minutes. Now it's about a 3-day process for the Play-Doh to get fully hardened without cracking. And when I painted them, the paint did crackle a little bit, and I don't know if that's because I was impatient once again on my project and I didn't let them harden all the way, or maybe it was just a reaction of the paint on the clay. But I didn't mind the crackle effect because it made these look even more rustic and more like wood. Next, I took these foam cubes from Dollar Tree and glued them together. To hide any seams, I hot glued some contact paper to the outside and I painted it. I painted these wooden dowels from Dollar Tree and attached them to the backs of the fish with some E6000. The next day, they were fully dried and on there really good. I used an X-Acto knife to make a hole for the dowels to go through, and that really got them through the contact paper easily. Then they stuck into those foam cubes and they felt really sturdy. I got this set of pom-poms on Amazon, but we are going to make this with a super cheap wreath base, so that will offset the cost of the pom-poms, which I think were like $10. So at the end of the season, you can disassemble this and then you can use those pom-poms for another craft. I got this whitewashed wood plank piece from Walmart for around $10. I'm going to freehand the bunny shape with a pencil. The lines from the wood planks make it easy to make sure you're making it even on both sides of the bunny. The next step is to mix up some pastel colors. I was wearing an ombre sweater that I got from the loft on the day that I made this, and it inspired me to make an ombre bunny sign. I used some foam brushes and acrylic paints. You don't have to paint perfectly around the bunny just yet because we will be going over the bunny in white paint later, so that'll cover up any mistakes. I went in stripes and blended gently between the colors to get the ombre effect. I found when I got to the areas between colors, wetting the brush just a tiny bit would help the blending look smoother. Also, water helped on some of those areas where the wood texture was just a little rough and the foam brush wasn't going over it as smoothly as I wanted. Acrylic paint usually doesn't take too long to dry, so we are on to getting the bunny shape looking good. Remember in grade school how you would try to draw within the lines? Well, having a border for painting can make things easier for grown-ups too. I took a chalk paint pen and traced the bunny shape. Then I went in with some white acrylic paint and filled him in. Now this is looking pretty cute as it is, but we have to go that extra mile and make this super duper ultra cutesy by adding a little cotton tail. I found these pom-poms on Amazon. Let's see which one looks best. This set of pom-poms came with several different shades of pinks, grays, white, brown. What color do you like? Leave me a comment in the comment section below. And since we already have a lot of other colors going on in this decor piece, I think I will go with the white. See how there is a little rubber loop on this pom-pom? That could come in handy if you were attaching it to something. So I'm going to use it as a solid point to put my hot glue and secure it to the wood. You could hang this on a wall or use it flat on a table. This cute farmhouse style fall plaque was $25 from Kirkland's, but we're going to make it for $1. You may remember this from a previous wall decor that I had created. Actually, it was a Kirkland's dupe. This was originally from a set of stovetop covers from Dollar Tree. They come in a set of 2, and this is the larger one. I'm going to put a coat of white spray paint on it and then give it a new fall life. I recreated the sign from Kirkland's and will also have this on my blog. I used a little Mod Podge to stick it down. Now let this dry completely before putting any more on top. Now that everything is dry, I wanted to add a few little shadows and texture to the sign, and it will also help conceal that edge of the paper. I thought this wreath was so beautiful, but for $40, well, I know we can do better than that. I started with this wooden hoop and I wrapped this Dollar Tree twine around it. I found these pumpkins at Dollar Tree. They have clips on the back, but I ended up taking those off. I also took off the stems to paint them. Now for the fun part, assembling all the florals together with some hot glue. Since the stems are pretty stiff, you will want to hold them onto the hot glue until they fully dry so that they don't pop off out of place. We'll use these Dollar Tree wooden blocks. I started by spray painting them white. These letter stickers come in various fonts and sizes at Dollar Tree, and they actually stick really well to the wood. I didn't need any extra glue or anything. I loved this oak leaf wreath. I thought the simplicity was so elegant. It was regularly $129, but was on sale here for $104. I had done some more colorful wreaths for fall, and I wanted a few neutral pieces, so I thought this would be perfect. I started with this oak leaf paper stamp. I didn't see the wreath in person, but it looked like the leaves would be fluttery in the breeze. It was just really soft looking. So I tried the stamp on tissue paper. I thought the tissue paper would give that soft flowy effect, but I was unsuccessful. It just tore the tissue paper to bits. So I went to plain white copy paper, and I could easily cut up to 2 sheets at a time, so this went pretty quick. I try to make budget-friendly DIYs here on Artsy Cupcake, so sometimes I recycle a craft from a previous season and I turn it into something new. I had made this pom-pom wreath and I want to reuse the base for this fall wreath. This is just a styrofoam floral ring that I got from Dollar Tree, and I wrapped it with white yarn. I removed the pom-poms, and now we have a soft white base that will go beneath those oak leaves. I used hot glue to attach the leaves. I made sure to keep the hot glue only on the stems of each leaf. This will allow the leaves to still flutter. I also tried to keep the leaves going in the same general direction. I bent up some of the leaves at the stem so that there would be some dimension and movement to the wreath. If you find an empty spot, you will need to put the stem further in from the empty spot so that the leaf part is what covers that empty area. I was worried since I wasn't able to use the tissue paper that this copy paper wouldn't have that fluttery look, but you can see here that it does. I really thought this was going to take a long time to make, but it went pretty quick putting this wreath together. And look at that savings. I already had the base, but if you bought the floral ring and yarn from Dollar Tree, that would only be $2, and then just use some plain paper from home. If you have a Cricut machine, you could have a page filled with these oak leaves and have them trimmed out for you. The stamp was around $20, so if you need to buy one of those, this is still way under the original price from Ballard's. I was browsing the Ballard site and came across these chargers. They were regularly $125 but were on sale for $94 for this set of 4. But guess how much we'll be paying? Just $1 each. If you like simple, low-cost DIYs, home decor, dupes of expensive items, and just crafting in general, don't forget to become part of this creative community by clicking that subscribe button. I post videos every Friday, and sometimes I do bonus videos during the week if I'm participating in a collab like this one. So if you don't want to miss those bonus videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and then that way you'll know right when new crafts go up. I made sure to keep the sponge brush strokes going in the same direction. This gave the chargers that wooden look. I found a plate that was just the right size to trace. Trust me, you want a circle to trace because I have a really steady hand and I tried freehanding that circle, so yeah, just go with the plate. This is my trusty Sharpie paint pen, which is oil-based. Sometimes it gets a little dried up, and when paint pens get dry like this, I flip the tip around and that seems to help get the paint flowing again. I used a sponge brush to measure approximately how far apart I wanted each of the leaf patterns to be, and I made a dot on either side of the circle to mark my spots. Then I painted on the leaves. These leaves are really easy to freehand and they don't have to all match exactly. The hand-painted look is what makes these chargers so special. You can add a clear coat after this if you want to make sure all of that paint stays put. Since these are chargers, we won't be eating directly off of them. They look so nice under some white dinnerware. So when I saw this one at Kirkland's, I thought it was really neat the way that it had a magnet that you can move from one day to the next. It is $15, but we are going to make ours for only $3. I had this Dollar Tree canvas from a previous project and I painted it black, a couple coats of black paint, and it was nice and solid. I attached some buffalo check ribbon that I had to the edges to create a kind of frame. Then I felt that the sides looked bare, so I added some pretty edging. I found this one at Dollar Tree. I want this to stand on its own, so I added some craft sticks to the back and those acted as a stand. I used the other half of the garland from the joy ornament and I added a small bell. I had 2 tiny magnets and I was planning on adding one to the back of the garland and then one behind the canvas. But the garland must have some sort of metal in it because it was already magnetic. So it sticks to the magnet behind the canvas all on its own. I love hearing from you guys, so please leave me a comment letting me know what you're thinking of all these dupes. So let's see the comparison on this one. I think we did pretty good. This set of 4 reindeer plates is so gorgeous. I think it would look really pretty in the kitchen or hanging in a dining room, but for almost $60, I know we can do better than that. I liked the look of these plates, but they were slightly off-white and they were kind of shiny. I think to get that chic Pottery Barn look that we're going for, I'm going to coat these with some flat white primer. We will not be eating off of these plates. They are for decorating only, so no worries about what kind of paint that you use on the plates. Once they dried, I took a toothbrush to get that splatter effect. Dip the toothbrush in some wet black paint and use your finger to scrape across the bristles while pointing the brush at the plates. This is really messy, so make sure you have enough room around you that you're not going to splatter anything, and then wash your hand right away because this paint will stick on your fingers. I think these came out so pretty. Each plate has that splattered look, but in a slightly different variation. I've got another printable here for you. I roughly recreated those little deer images. They are so small and I needed to make them a little bit chunky so that they would be easier to hand trim. First, I cut them out with an X-Acto knife, and then I used a small pair of scissors to cut as closely to the edges as I could. This will prevent the edge from showing on the plates. I used a tiny brush to add some matte Mod Podge to the back of the deer. Once that dried, I painted a little bit extra over the top, and this will just seal it in place. Let's take a look at the original compared to mine. Another awesome savings. Only $4 for the Dollar Tree plates, since I just used copy paper and paint that I already had in my house. So this was a great savings. Bugatti came to say hello to you guys. Hold on. This is a big boy. He's a big cat. Yes, he is. My little snow leopard. I thought this set of 2 reindeer was the cutest for holiday decor. These are $89 at Pottery Barn, but we will be making a set of 2 for only $4. I want these reindeer to look soft and fuzzy, so I picked up this bath mat at Dollar Tree. Honestly, I thought it was a placemat when I bought it because it is so small. Or maybe I just have big feet because it definitely looked a little bit small for my footprint. But anyway, it's going to work perfectly for this project. I had also picked up this little owl and was thinking of deconstructing him to use his fur for the reindeer, but you know what? I just couldn't do it, guys. He is so cute and I want to keep him as is for my Christmas tree. I love owls, especially for fall and winter decor. They're just so adorable. I created this template for my reindeer body. I will have it on my blog as a free download. That's artsycupcake.com. If you're stopping by my channel for the very first time, thank you so much for visiting me here. I really appreciate your love and support here on Artsy Cupcake. My name is Maria, and my passion is sharing ways to get creative in your home. I try to make my DIYs as simple and low cost as possible so you can be inspired to make something beautiful for your home. If you love home decor and you're as obsessed with Dollar Tree as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and that way you'll know when my next DIYs go up. I flipped the reindeer inside out and stuffed it with an old pillow that I had been harvesting stuffing from for a few of my projects. I sealed up the front and then I put a coat of white paint over the beige fur. I did not see a white bath mat at my Dollar Tree, but if you see one at yours, you could save yourself a step here with the painting. You will want to let these dry overnight because the paint kind of soaks into the fabric and that takes a while to dry. Next, I attached a little ribbon and some pine cones for the tail. We are going to use these wooden dowels for the legs. I first cut them to size and then I wrapped them with twine. You want the bottom of the leg to have a little bit of extra hot glue, and you want to wrap the twine around a few extra times there, and that'll make it thicker at the bottom so it'll look like the little hooves. I also put a dollop of hot glue right at the bottom just to add some friction to help the reindeer stand on a hard or slippery surface. I wanted a little contrast to the white body, so we are giving these legs a little bit of distressed black chalk paint. I think this will give the reindeer even more character. To attach these, you will want to use a lot of hot glue and really hold those legs in place until they are dry. I pushed the two legs close together because it added a little bit more stability having them connected at the base. These twigs are off a tree from my yard, and I attached them onto the heads of the reindeer with some hot glue. Isn't this wooden snowflake from Pottery Barn so beautiful? But it's $350. Guess how much we'll be spending? Only $7. Here are the items I found at Dollar Tree for this project. I had spray painted those signs a flat white, and now I'm attaching them together with some hot glue. These actually have hooks on the back So if you position the top one with the hook at the top, it's all ready to hang. I wanted the wood texture to still come through on those blocks, but I did want them to be black to go with my black and white theme. So I did a light coat of the chalkboard paint, and they came out perfect. I started by placing the blocks without glue to make sure I liked how they were positioned. Then I used some hot glue to stick them down. I used some flat and some blocks on their side to give this piece a more dimensional look. Let's see how we did on this one. This savings is really amazing, and I think it looks pretty close to the original and pretty good for only $7. You know, I think Santa gets way too much attention. I bet Mrs. Claus is behind the scenes making Santa dinner, feeding the reindeer, and doing tons of other chores. I think Mrs. Claus deserves some love for all her hard work, so we are going to create a cute little version of Mrs. Claus from some old gift boxes. I started with her hat by cutting a piece of thick paper in a square and then rounding one of the edges. I attached some microfiber cloth to the rounded edge. I sealed it shut with hot glue, and then I attached a white pom-pom to the top. For Mrs. Claus's body, I'm going to flip these canisters I had decorated that were originally gift boxes, so I guess they're kind of getting flipped for a second time. The blue was great for spring, but now they get a new life as a Christmas decoration. I gave them a coat of white spray paint, and I attached them together. Then I popped the hat on the top. I created some glasses from floral wire, and then I added some pink paint for her cheeks. I drew a red heart for her mouth. I'm using a Sharpie paint pen here, which I love for crafting because they are oil-based. I added her eyes and her nose. And for her collar, I wanted some white lace, and the only lace I had around the house was on this Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. Luckily, it came off the burlap ribbon really easily. For her apron, I used a piece of that microfiber cloth, which you can find in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. I think we're getting to the end of this microfiber cloth. If you check out the rest of my Christmas videos that I've done this season, that microfiber cloth went a long way in all my projects. Then I attached some of that same ribbon that we used on the wreath. This is supposed to be like the waistband of her apron. I think it looks super cute. I had some old pillow stuffing and used a little of that around the top of her hat to represent her white hair. going to take this white felt that I found at Dollar Tree and cut it into strips that we will wrap around the wreath form. I tried to secure the edges of the felt strips all on the same side, so that will be the back, and then the front doesn't show any seams. I used this Dollar Tree ribbon to form a bow. I folded it over and then snipped little triangles from the middle, and then I tied it together with some floral wire. After I fluffed up the bow, I attached it with some hot glue to the bottom of the wreath. I had some baby's breath from Dollar Tree, and I snipped off all of the flowers. I also picked out all the white spheres from this vase filler. I started from the bottom and tried to keep things somewhat symmetrical as I went along, adding the vase filler and the baby's breath on either side. I kind of faded out towards the top and went about halfway up on each side. Then for the top, I attached a ribbon with the glue on the back. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking my video. If you like these long DIY videos, I have a mega playlist right over here for you. They're organized by season, and I have timestamps to make it easy for you to jump from project to project. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.